Unlike our zombie questions, our ghoulish question that is not alive.
Oh, we didn't put zombie. I mean, I guess zombie would go under other now.
Yeah, well, other, you can be a zombie if you really want to be a zombie. So I'll go ahead and select other for myself. When we hold a seance, who is in the chat with us?
who who has joined us in this chat tonight?
Welcome one, welcome all to the live stream of fall. You would think that I had that planned out, and I didn't. So today we're going to do our September live stream, and you're going to enjoy it whether you want to or not. So thanks for joining us, and yeah, we'll wait another second here while I, juggle and pretend like I'm actually saying something important or valuable. Amber, what important and valuable things do I have to say?
Um, I'm sure you have plenty of important and valuable things to say.
Wrong. You're completely and totally incorrect in that respect. I have nothing important left to say. And on that note, speaking of nothing important to say, our first letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for refusing to make a birthday cake for my daughter's friend?" Ah, welcome. Welcome. Welcome, Embrace, Grace, and Malter. I was like, nobody's going to answer. They're going to be shy in the chat, so I'm just going to move on. Apparently, there's like a little live counter in the corner now. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't even notice it somehow.
I did. So, I'll reread the title just so that people have that coherence, that continuity. Am I the jerk for refusing to make a birthday cake for my daughter's friend? So I'm a 33-year-old female, and I work a stressful and demanding job with long hours. Even when I'm done with my workday, I'm still technically on call, so I treasure my free time. In my college days, I used to work at a bakery part-time to pay for school and picked up some cake decorating skills from the confectioner. I quit the job when I graduated, but have made some elaborate cakes once in a while in the years since, mainly for my partner or other family and friends. I lean heavily into my engineering background to make them one of a kind, but major reasons that they come out so well is because I make them out of love and with the person that they're intended for in mind. Well, a few months ago, it was my daughter, a 4-year-old female's birthday, and we had a birthday party for her where we invited some of her preschool friends and their parents. My daughter had been obsessed with Rapunzel, and for her birthday, she asked me to make her a Rapunzel cake with a tower. I took a week off of work and made her an amazing cake. My daughter was incredibly happy, and it was the talk of her friends' circle for a while after as well. Well, last week, I was picking up my daughter from school when I ran into one of the moms, and we'll call her Allie. That was at my daughter's party. We had spoken to her briefly at the party, but that was my only interaction with her. She told me that her daughter, Kara, a 4-year-old female, loved the cake, and that I had made for my daughter. And since her birthday is coming in a few days, she has repeatedly insisted on having a similar cake for her birthday. She asked me if I would be willing to make a cake for Kara as well. I told her that it took me a lot of time and effort to make the cake for my daughter, and I'm not sure that I could accommodate it. She kept insisting, wouldn't take no for an answer, and I was running late, so I told her that I would think about it and let her know. She took down my number and left. Well, later that evening, I asked my daughter if Kara is a close friend, since I hadn't heard anything about her more than a handful of times. She said that Kara is bossy, and she doesn't like her, but she is friends with her best friend. So I decided that it wasn't worth the hassle, and I texted Allie to let her know that I can't do it because of my schedule. She replied saying that she would really like me to do it, and that it would make her daughter very happy, and that she was willing to pay me for it as well, as if that shouldn't have been on the table to begin with. I told her that I understand, but that it wasn't about the money so much as it was about the time and effort involved, and that I would be happy to recommend some excellent bakeries in the area that could make custom cakes for her daughter. She said that I had managed to find the time to make my daughter a cake, and surely I could find some time for Kara as well. I was a bit miffed by now, and I told her that it isn't for her to decide, and that I'm just not interested in doing it or continuing the conversation. She devolved into cussing me out and told me that I was being a jerk by not thinking of her daughter's happiness. All right, folks, what do you think? And welcome, Sweet Memories.
Absolutely not the jerk. And I think we can all see where Kara gets her bossiness from. I mean, the audacity to be like, well, because you did something for your kid, you have to do something for my kid as well. Like, OP is one person. She cannot be expected to make cakes for the entire world because she did something nice for her kid. You are allowed to prioritize your own family, your own children, and do nice things for the people you care about. You do not have to do things for virtual strangers just because they say so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I also want to make sure to check in with folks and see if the sound is working. If you can't hear us or anything like that, just let me know. I'll just basically be like sitting here, moving my mouth, and hopefully somebody said something at some point in time that would indicate that they can't hear me. But I mean, much like the bag of air that I am, I'll continue to be a bag of air. I don't know. Self-depreciating humor aside, I think that OP doesn't have to make this woman a cake, and that if OP really gets tired of her, then she could be like, well, I took a week off from work to make my daughter's cake, so if you want to pay me for a week's worth of salary and then give her a quote on how much that's going to cost, maybe she'll just change her mind, right? Like, oh yeah, I took a week off. I get paid X number of dollars a day, so I would be happy to make you a cake if you paid me $1,000 or something ridiculous, right? And maybe that would make her stop. I don't know.
I mean, OP could do that, but I think the best thing is just not engage, because she would be like, I'm sure it doesn't cost that much, and like, you just do this, yada yada yada. Like, the more you give, the more she's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, some people are like that. Some people are like that. But
I mean, she's at the point of like cussing OP out for not making her daughter a cake. This is not someone who can be reasoned with.
yeah, yeah. And I don't see any opinions from the peanut gallery, but you're all welcome to chime in if you'd like. You can let us know what you think of that, or speak now and forever hold your peace.
I mean, we're summoning spirits, so like we can expect that there's going to be some we're not going to hear. It's sometimes hard to hear them.
Yes. Speaking of summoning spirits, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Taking My Daughter's Paycheck? So, and there's also like a 30-second delay, so I can't really blame people. I'm a 34-year-old male, and I've been taking my daughter's paychecks. For some context, my daughter has recently taken up a job at her local dine-in bar. The bar is about 2 weeks from closing because they're incredibly understaffed. Therefore, she's only being paid $300 a week. My son, who's significantly older than her, no longer lives in the house, and I've been struggling for many years trying to teach him good money management. Though, on several occasions, he's come to me for asking for large amounts of money with little to no explanation besides saying that it will quote-unquote help him. I understand that this is bias, but because not everyone is the same, but I only want what was best for my daughter, and I don't want her to end up in a bad spot. Personally, I find it justifiable in the that I return, pay for her food, buy her things, and drive her around. My wife suggests that I could be using the money for our house mortgage, and has told me on several occasions that my daughter would likely spend the money on useless items or collectibles that she won't need in the future. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're absolutely the jerk. This sounds like I'm getting the sense that the daughter is a minor, and this is essentially theft. You're stealing her wages. Like, as a parent, if she is a minor, you are obligated to buy her food and whatnot. The OP's like, oh, well, I'm buying her food, so I should be able to take her paycheck. No, that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think the level of fairness here is really skewed. Like, are they giving away the money to the brother? That's what it sounds like?
It sounds like they're using it for the mortgage or something like that, and they're using the brother as justification, like, well, he wastes his money, so we can't let the daughter waste her money.
So are they not helping either of them? This story is a little confusing for me. I really wish I had more details. And like, how old is the daughter? How old is the son? Like, if the daughter's 24 and living at home, then I mean, I can understand them wanting some compensation for like certain things, but like, how is she ever going to get out of home if they take her whole paycheck, right? I just don't think it's right. I think that they need to be letting her have her paycheck, whether she's a minor or not. And what does the restaurant being 2 weeks from closing have anything to do with anything, right?
Right.
I mean, other than the fact that she's not getting paid what she deserves
Well, but
anyways.
it sounds like they're using it as an excuse to undercut her,
Yeah.
which isn't cool. And so, but yeah, like then Opie's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna steal this money, and that's not cool.
Yeah. But what do the comments have to say?
So Walter says, "How old are these kids? Either way, you're the jerk." And then Embrace Grace says, "Reddit doesn't believe in details, lol."
No, I mean, a lot of times. I mean, sometimes you get the really detailed ones, and then sometimes you get these ones here like this that are basically like no details. But speaking of no details, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for quote unquote humiliating my friend's kids? On my commute to work, I noticed three siblings walking to their bus stop for school. The oldest one is 16 or 17, and his sister is 14, and his brother is 13, I think. I know their mom from running class that we did over summer and see her at football games. I'm not super close with her, as she's a bit older, and we have different life experiences. She seemed really pleasant and friendly from our interactions. Well, during days when it's raining, the older brother usually holds an umbrella over his sister because he's taller than her, and sometimes the other brother. I find this really cute, sweet, and a little heartwarming, so I decided to film them one day with the dash cam and posted a clip to my Instagram of him holding the umbrella over her with a caption of how sweet, with a smiling face with some generic calm music over it. The younger brother was behind them, so the context was pretty clear as to what I meant by the clip. I got a lot of likes, but then their mom decided to phone me and jumped straight into a rant and tirade towards me. She asked me really aggressively, what right do I have to film them and then post it online? I explained that it was in a public space, that I wasn't following them around, and in their video, their faces weren't visible at all. She said that the clip was humiliating for them, and apparently one of them said that there are comments around their school about it. Like it's my fault that teenagers are acting like jerks. She then accused me of stalking them and violating their privacy, which I then again explained wasn't the case. Eventually, I was fed up and I told her just to be quiet and I hung up. Then I started getting messages from a few people telling me to take down the clip and that it was embarrassing to post. Also, I noticed some friends on Facebook and Instagram as well, obviously from the mom's influence. Am I the jerk or am I in the wrong here? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you absolutely are the jerk and in the wrong. You should not be posting people's children online without consent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the rule. It doesn't matter how cute something is. The fact that you're using other people's children to try to get clout on your Instagram is weird to begin with. But then, like, when you are told that this was uncomfortable and, like, asked politely to take it down, you just, like, doubled down. That's not cool.
I could understand them not really seeing the problem in posting this, but they shouldn't have thrown a fit when the mom asked them to take it down. They should have been respectful and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to offend or anything like that. I'll take it down," right? And, it's a good rule of thumb to not post my stuff from minors, right? Like that's really shady gray territory, and like
Yeah.
kids are unable to defend themselves online in a lot of ways, and so it can really make things complicated for kids. And
Well, and there are laws too about
mhm,
posting people's children online. Like, I might vary from state to state, but I remember when I was a teenager, and I was learning some journalism stuff. Like, if we took pictures of people out and about, like you had to get the kids, you couldn't get their faces in there.
mhm.
And I know OP says their faces aren't really visible, but like, what does that mean?
Well, if the kids' faces are visible at all, then and he didn't blur them, then yeah, that's actually not cool at all, right? But yeah, if their backs are turned and you can't see their faces at all, then like that's generally kind of I think something that is allowed legally. I just don't know. I just think it depends on their jurisdiction, right? So if they don't know their laws surrounding this, then they should find out pretty quickly because they might be in for a lawsuit if the mom wants to sue them. But what do the comments have to say?
Walter says, "You're the jerk. Don't post kids online." Embrace Grace says, "Definitely the jerk. You don't post other people's kids online without consent." And Sweet Memory says, "Don't post other people's children. Everybody knows that."
Speaking of something that everybody knows, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Friend to Pay Me Back for Food That I Cooked for Her Dinner Party? I'm a 29-year-old female and I love cooking, and I often host dinners for friends. Recently, my friend, a 31-year-old female, asked me to cook for a party that she was hosting at her house because she loves my food and wanted to impress her guests. I agreed, but I told her that I would need her to cover the cost of the ingredients since it wasn't my event, and she seemed fine with it. After the party, I gave her the receipt for around $150, and that was just ingredients. I didn't take any money for myself. She said that she didn't expect it to cost that much money and that I should cover it as a gift because we're friends and I enjoy cooking. I said no, and now she's calling me tacky and nickeling and diming her over dinner. Am I the jerk for asking her to pay me back? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. The agreement was that you do the cooking, she pay for everything.
Yeah.
You did not agree to do this all for free. I
Yeah.
mean, you're already giving her your labor for free. And like $150 for a grocery, like unless this was like a dinner for one, that doesn't seem excessive. And like since it's a dinner party, I'm assuming there were multiple people eating this dinner.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking like 10 guests, then I mean,
It's like
that's
$15 a head. That's really reasonable.
yeah, I mean, that's better than you're going to get for any other catering service, right? And so I think that that's a really big consideration here. The friend is the one being tacky. OP isn't the one being tacky. The friend is, right?
Right. In the future, it probably would be best to get the friend to pay up front. Like not don't do this for this person again because they're rude. But like if another friend asks you, like have them pay up front for the ingredients so they can't like try and weasel their way out at the end.
Yeah. Well, it's just unfortunate because you kind of expect your friends to not take advantage of you, and in this case, OP just can't trust this friend anymore. Like this friend
No.
is going to clearly try to get out of their, responsibilities, and I think that's unfortunate, right? And I mean, OP just shouldn't ever cook for this person again.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
I mean, they don't sound like a very good friend. You may want to reevaluate the friendship in
Mhm.
general.
Or make a Facebook post to all the people at the dinner party asking to be like reimbursed because OP's friend is cheap, being like, hey, it would be really nice if people, kicked in like a few bucks because I wasn't expecting to get hit with this huge bill. And it's a really hard financially for me to cover this. So if people could help out with this, it would be really nice, right? I mean, that maybe that way it looks like, that if OP puts out this real truth there and stuff like that, then people are going to hopefully be sympathetic towards that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just, hopefully the friend gives the money back, and then like if they don't, just cut them off.
Yeah.
Maybe cut them off either way, but
Speaking of cutting people off, our next letter is titled, Partner, a 26-year-old male, doesn't want me, a 23-year-old female, to celebrate Halloween because he thinks that I'll cheat. My partner and I have been together for 2 years. We live together, he is unemployed, and I pay all of the bills and work. He is also into cosplay and Halloween, and Halloween is his favorite time of year. He attends a costume event during the months of September through November. During our relationship, I have paid for him to attend these events, including accommodations, travel, and all other expenses. Last November, I found out that he has been sexting numerous women. Most of these women he had met through his cosplay events. We had a massive fight about it, but we decided to stay together. In April of this year, following another fight, he went out to the club without me and tried to sexually proposition a mutual friend of ours who was also at the club that night. This resulted in another really rough patch for us, but we stayed together because he showed genuine remorse for what he did and starts working towards changing behavior. Well, in the months since then, our relationship has been really good, and I'm learning to trust him again, and he is doing everything to make me feel secure. Halloween is coming up again, and he told me that he doesn't want me to go to any Halloween events with him because he doesn't want to quote-unquote babysit me. He also doesn't want me to attend any events without him and thinks that I will cheat on him if he's not there. He also doesn't want me to attend any events with my friends as he believes that they will encourage me to cheat on him. I love Halloween and I love to celebrate. What's his problem? I pay all of his bills and I take care of him despite what he's done to me. And He is the one with a history of cheating. Why is he treating me with so much suspicion? All right, folks, what do you think?
Just dump him. I mean, what does he actually bring to the table, OP? It sounds like you're doing everything, and the best you can hope is that he goes a few weeks without cheating on you. This is absolutely projection on his part. He is probably, he doesn't want you with him, not because he doesn't want to babysit you, but because he's planning on cheating again.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, cheaters are always afraid their partner will cheat on them, back. So he's just being a controlling jerk. Celebrate Halloween and find someone who will celebrate Halloween with you and not run around, cheating on your dime.
I mean, what does OP have to lose by going to this anyways?
Yeah.
Right? Like, go. Just go and have a fun time.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
what's he gonna do? Like,
right, break up with you? Yeah, I mean, you're his meal ticket. He's not going to break up with you. He's just being controlling. Do what you want, and if he decides to cheat on you, then out of spite for you going to one of these parties, then that's on him. He's the one who's cheated. He's the one, basically, he's accusing OP because of his own insecurities, because he's afraid that OP is going to exact revenge on him or something like that and cheat or something like that. But, most people aren't going to, like, OP just wants their relationship to be a happy relationship. She just wants him to stop cheating on her, and he just refuses to do that. So, yeah, I just don't see him being faithful. And so maybe this is OP's time to cut him loose. But what do the comments have to say?
Walter says, "Oh boy, here we go." Sweet Memory says, "Projection. Girl, leave the man already." And Embrace Grace says, "Get rid of him. He's not worth it."
Yes. And speaking of he's not worth it, or maybe she's not worth it, I don't know. Our next letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for refusing to pump for my mother-in-law?" So I'm a first-time mom, and this whole experience has been very overwhelming for me. My wonderful baby just hit 3 months and is officially no longer a newborn. I have been lucky enough that I have a good supply, so my baby girl is exclusively breastfed, except for any excess that we use when my husband does her night feeding. Well, I have made it very clear to most of our friends and family that I don't want anyone but me or my husband feeding her. My mother-in-law has been slightly annoyed, bordering on judgmental about this, but has mostly kept her mouth shut. We have never had any issues in the past, so I just chalked it up to her wanting to bond with the baby. I might allow it when she's older, but for now, I'm not comfortable with anyone else doing it. So we were over at my sister-in-law's house for her son's birthday, and while all the cousins and husbands were playing outside, me and all the ladies were inside playing Pass the Baby. She ends up in my mother-in-law's arms and begins to fuss and make her hungry cry. I stood up and I went to take her before she pulled her back and told me to go make a bottle. I told her no, that I would go into the guest room and feed her. My sister-in-law stood and said that she had some formula and that she would make it for me. I refused again and quickly took my baby, saying that she's never had formula and I don't want her to be sick. My mother-in-law sighs and rolls her eyes and says, "Why don't you just pump some so I can feed my baby?" I must have been visibly horrified because one of my other sister-in-laws stood and tried to guide me away by my shoulder. I took her to the other room to feed her and sat there with her for the rest of the party. The sister-in-law whose party it was came to find me, and I almost hit her when she said, "Don't you think that it's a little selfish that you won't let mom feed the baby? You could have just pumped a couple of ounces for her." I said that I will never pump anything for anyone because I'm not a cow and she's my baby. She declared that I was being a bee and walked away. My husband doesn't know this is all happening, but on the ride home, his mother and 2 other wives texted me to tell me that I was unfair to hog the baby and to make it so that she couldn't bond with anyone else and that I should have just pumped before I came so that I didn't have to hide her away. My mother-in-law specifically said that I was being so selfish with her only granddaughter and that it wasn't fair to her that she couldn't even feed the baby. I just texted back that it wasn't her baby and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I know that I should tell my husband, but I don't want to add more strain as he and his mother are still trying to heal their relationship from when they had a big fight a couple of years ago. I don't want to cause any drama, but I'm starting to feel very guilty, especially since I'm getting tons of texts about how cruel I'm being. Am I the jerk for refusing to pump for my mother-in-law? Edit, a bit of small context. My little sister choked while being fed on our great aunt and almost died. She had been holding her properly, and my sister had to be rushed to the hospital. Oh, hadn't been holding her properly, and my sister had to be rushed to the hospital. I was very young, but the memory is still very fresh in mind, even when my husband is feeding our baby. I never want my baby to be unsafe while being fed, and I worry about other people feeding her because of this. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. How you choose to feed your baby is your business. Your mother-in-law is not entitled to feed your child.
Yeah.
You know,
Or in her words, my baby.
well, the audacity. That's why, I mean, I think you need to catch husband up ASAP. It's okay if it hurts his relationship with his mother. Maybe his mom needs to be in timeout if it sounds like she has trouble with boundaries. It is ridiculous to, again, like you said, you're not a cow. You don't need to pump on demand so other people can feed your child.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem that I have with this one, is that the mother-in-law is being incredibly selfish and demanding here, and OP has a legitimate, fear. I'm wondering if the mother-in-law knows OP's story, and maybe, I don't think this would work, and maybe this would just cause more drama, but OP could explain where her phobia comes from, and maybe mother-in-law would be a little more understanding. But I think that OP doesn't need to give them any justification. No is no. It's a complete sentence, right?
Well, it is. And like mother-in-law, of course, would be offended and like, I would never do that. I raised blah, blah, blah number of kids. Why would you? And so I don't think any answer is going to satisfy mother-in-law. It's clear that mother-in-law feels entitled to OP's child.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that OP and her husband communicate and present a united front and set reasonable boundaries.
Yeah, but what do the comments have to say?
So Malter says, my baby, in quotes, and then the relationship can't heal if they're hiding something like this. She needs to tell him. And then Sweet Memory says, there's an update, right?
Oh, is there an update?
I have no idea.
There might be an update on this one. I hadn't checked. So I don't have unfortunately, I don't think I have that ability to do that in this little area here. I mean, I could always try to check real quick and see if there is an actual update on that one, but I don't know. If Amber can distract people long enough for me to check, I can probably check.
How should I distract people?
Well, just by talking a lot and being distracting.
I am so distracting. Much distract. There is an update. I found it.
Yeah. Let's see. I found okay, so there is an update to this one. Let's see. And I'll just go through the update real quick here. It's on Reddit, and sorry, it's gonna be a little bit blinding here because this isn't normally how I do Reddit here, and this is a little bit of a mess. So I guess you'll just have to suffer in silence, folks.
Much rude.
Yeah, I know. I'm a very rude individual, so sorry. Not sorry. We'll get the wheel out here to judge me.
Chastise Brian.
Welcome to the party, Mary. So the update in this one is husband got home early tonight and checked my phone together. Messages totaled mother-in-law 14 voicemail, 23 calls, 67 texts. Sister-in-law 8 Facebook messages, 4 phone calls, 17 texts. Father-in-law, but clearly from mother-in-law, 4 more voice calls, 5 voicemails, 5 calls, and 31 texts. I let my husband handle them as I didn't feel like reading them while already feeling so stressed about it. Afterwards, he took about an hour to calm down in the basement. The messages, from what little he did feel comfortable telling me, were about how I was tearing the family apart with my selfish behavior, and why do I even bring the baby around if I don't want them bonding with her. One of the voicemails was 20 minutes or so long and was just apparently her talking about how all the kids are both breastfed and formula fed, so grandma can help and I'm depriving myself of her assistance. I heard part of her rant saying how she knows best because she had 6 kids and 7 or 8 at the same time, and that me being so particular is going to make other babies impossible for me. Which is unfair because she wants 2 granddaughters and I'm the only one that can give them to her. My girl is the first baby girl and all 12 of her cousins are boys. Husband made 1 phone call and told her that if she is going to drain my phone battery, she will permanently block me from my phone. I called my OB today and talked about the possibility of getting a consult for a therapist to talk about my potential PPA. While I'm sure that the situation is certainly adding to it, I want to be as healthy as I can for my baby. A few of my friends visited today and gave me very similar advice on the situation. So, yeah, a bit of an update. So, thank you for letting us know about that. And our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for wanting my wife to go to the office instead of working from home? So I don't work, and my wife travels for work 4 to 8 days per month. When she's not traveling, she works from home. We live in a one-bedroom apartment, and when she's home, she uses the living room and dining room as the office. I don't like staying in the apartment when she's there because I can't make noise. She's constantly on Teams meeting. I can sometimes find something to do outside on those days, but not every day. Am I the jerk for wanting her to go to the office from time to time, maybe once a week? She complains about the time that she wastes on the commute. 1 hour transportation each way. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're the jerk. I understand it's hard to navigate a small space when there are two people with competing interests, but it sounds like she's the one who is, she needs a space where she can actually work during the day and shouldn't have to commute an hour either way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What is preventing, like, OP makes it sound like there's nothing at all he can do, but what do you do during your day? Like, is there not a way to sometimes do this at a coffee shop or, I mean, again, like it's not clear what OP is doing during the day because.
So, first off, I want to say, sweet memories, no need to apologize. Thank you for telling us. I really appreciate you taking the time to let us know about that. But I think I agree with you here. I mean, this situation is a little bit complicated because, like, it's not clear if she is telling him that he can't make noise or what exactly, like, how much noise is too much, for instance, right? If he was quietly on his phone, for instance, and he laughed about something, would that be a problem, right? If he was wearing headphones, right? Or is this a matter of like he can't make any noise at all, otherwise she gets angry at him and tells him to be quiet and leave the house or something like that? If that's the case, then I think that they need to have like a serious conversation because that would be rude and disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
But if this is more like he just doesn't want to interrupt her and he's trying to be as considerate as possible, well, maybe there's some quiet things that they can do around the house, right? Like, she has a legitimate reason for not wanting to go into the office because no one wants to spend time on a commute if they don't have to, right? And if she can do her job fully from home, then that shouldn't be a problem, right? And OP also has to consider that her happiness matters a lot when it comes to this her job because she's the only one bringing an income in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I would have to know more about OP's circumstances. Is this a matter of like disability? Is this a matter of, some other reason that they aren't able to work? Is this a matter of like they just are not doing anything productive at all? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of open questions here that I have before I could make like a solid judgment on this one. But I have a feeling that if they were to sit down and have communicate with each other, then this could go a long way towards reconciling their differences.
Yeah, well, because like we work from the same room, and
Yeah.
like if Brian is in a meeting and I need more quiet, I just go into the other room.
Yeah.
And so like he could just, it's not like, couldn't he just like hang out in their bedroom or something?
Yeah.
And so it just seems like, again, what is he doing that is so loud that they can't just coexist?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. But what do the comments have to say?
I have no idea because they're not loading for me.
Oh, well, I think I can read some of the comments then. Do you have it on live or do you have it on top?
I have no idea. Top.
Yeah, you want to set it to live.
Okay.
So, Sweet Memory says maybe he should find a job. It might be the case where he needs to find something to occupy his time during the daytime. And Mary says OP has the luxury of options. The library comes to mind, headphones for entertainment devices, etc. Wife can't hold meetings at another facility, for example, the library, and 1 hour commute is not always 1 hour. Yeah, well, that's just it. It's like an hour commute is a long drive, right? And heck, how about OP finding a part-time job or volunteering position? Why is OP not working? Yeah, that's what I want to know. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of open questions here. A lot of open questions. So I just don't know. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing My Wife's Gift? So, my wife lent her father in law my cordless drill without my permission. I had a general sense that he had it, and since he has a woodworking hobby, I simply use it for basic home repairs. I was happy to let him keep it. He also lives a few blocks away, so it's not a huge burden for me to go and get it if I need to. Well, the time came where I needed to use it, so I asked my wife if she could go get it back from her father, whom she sees every day. She immediately started asking me what I needed it for, when did I need it, etc. To be honest, I may have been short with her because I felt that I didn't really need to justify why or how I wanted to use my drill. She went on to ask me if I could just get a new drill and implied that I may be having financial trouble if I just can't get a new one. I reiterated that I don't need a new one. I have a drill and we know where it is, with her father. She called father-in-law to ask about the drill, and as it turned out, the drill was not at his home, but at his cabin about 90 minutes away. He visits weekly, so again, this is not a big deal for me. I could wait a week and eventually get my drill back. Fast forward to the following week. Father-in-law didn't bring the drill back from the cabin. My wife told me that my father-in-law forgot, but since we were all going back anyways, we could just pick it up when we were there. Lo and behold, when we get there, father-in-law cannot find the drill. So now it's been over 2 weeks since I very first asked for my drill, and will stretch on indefinitely. My wife offered to give me money to buy a new one. I showed her the price, about $200 US, and she said that would be my Christmas present. This is where I may have been the jerk. I told her that it's my stuff that's gone missing, and that if she feels like replacing it as a gift, as opposed to making amends for lending out my things to someone who lost it, then she can keep her money. We haven't talked since, but she put an envelope of cash on my desk and left a note that she said that she didn't want to stress my father-in-law out, and that she is sorry that you need to purchase a new drill because you need to use one urgently. I have read the note, but that money is still in the envelope where it may stay. So Reddit, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, it's a very frustrating situation going on here that she took OP's drill without his consent and lent it to her father, and then her father loses it or sells it. Who knows what he did with it? And she wants to do anything but confront her father. And I mean, it's time that we talk to father-in-law and find out what's going on, find out why he doesn't know where the drill is.
Yeah, so I had forgotten that detail about the wife lending it out without talking to OP, but OP didn't seem to have like too much of a problem about it at the time. And that's not to say that like OP is at fault here. I think that this is kind of one of those situations where it wasn't her fault that the father-in-law lost it, but she should have also talked to OP about loaning it out. And it sounds like OP wouldn't have probably even had a problem with that, right? But where I do kind of think that OP is starting to be a little bit petty is that they're not even, accepting the money or getting, accepting the apology or anything like that, because
it's not a very well formed apology. She's putting it, I'm sorry that you need to buy a new drill because you need one so urgently.
yeah, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. That's not urgent at that point in time, right?
Like it shows she's trying to make guilt OP and make him feel bad with her apology. She has owned up to nothing.
I mean, that's fair. She really hasn't owned up. I mean, that's a fair assessment. But I guess it's a matter of like, how much do they really want to reconcile? How much do they want to like continue to fight? Because, if they don't come together and kind of talk things over, then I don't think that they're going to have a good time, right? I think that they're going to have a struggle at this point.
Well, certainly, but I think the wife needs to grow a spine and talk to her father.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's kind of nonsense that he can't find this drill. Like, he needs to just come up with a drill and find it, right?
Yeah, and like, why is it okay to like destroy OP, but she doesn't want to stress her father? Like, she has no concerns of like emotionally guilting OP until Kingdom Come. Yeah. But my father can't be stressed.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that's really fair. It's just not a fair situation to OP. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, how about OP gift wifey with a $200 set of drill bits for Christmas? And then Walter says, sorry you have a problem that I caused.
Yeah.
And then Mary says, I'm betting wife has known for some time that the drill has gone bye-bye.
You know, I was wondering about that because she seemed to be very reluctant to get the drill back. And she's like, well, why don't you just buy a new one, blah, 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 and everything. So maybe something happened to the drill. And
Either that or he's just sold it for cash.
I mean, he could have sold it for cash. I mean, it's a $200 drill set, so maybe he thought, oh, I'll make a bit of a profit off of it. I don't know. I wish I knew more about that situation, to be quite honest.
It's one of those things where, like, why can't we just pick everyone's brain in these Reddit stories?
Yeah. Speaking of picking everyone's brains, our next letter is titled, Partner asked me to quote unquote stop telling him when I do chores around the house because he doesn't need to know. Someone who doesn't want to pick someone's brain. So we live together with a housemate and both nearing our 30s. We've been together for nearly 4 years now, living together for 2. The house is a wreck for multiple reasons. I'm the only girl, and we are subletting, so there was no mandatory big clean before we moved in, and the housemate has let years of dust and dirt build up, etc., etc. I've long felt overwhelmed by the sheer dirt of the house. But between my job and lack of wanting to clean other people's nonsense, literally and metaphorically, it hasn't been done. I am back to work in 3 weeks after my summer vacation, so I've been starting to clean up the house in order of what annoys me the most: dirty toilets, layers of wet grime in the kitchen, etc. And have asked my partner to help, and he will, but his version of a good clean is what I would deem a light clean. A quick dust, a quick hoover, and no cleaning products used. The housemate, isn't up to much more either, if his room is anything to go by. Well, my partner came home from work and asked me how my day was, and I said that I had a productive day and started talking about how I cleaned this and that, and ended up with me saying that we must ring a skip company to remove the trash from our garden. Well, my partner said that he wanted me to quote unquote stop telling him when I did things around the house just to do them, and just to do them. And that he said that it just takes out the bins and he said that he just takes out the bins and just washed the laundry basket and doesn't need to tell me. When I still seemed annoyed, he sarcastically said, "Thank you for cleaning your house," and then apologized later and said that the house looked good. Why do you need to tell me that you need a ring for skip? Just ring them and collect the trash. I'm still kind of miffed about this, but my partner said that I'm the only person in the house that cares about this kind of thing, and therefore it should obviously be my area to do. Am I being self-serving when I tell him what I've done? It's not like I'm ever looking for praise or anything like that. I'm just pointing out the areas of cleaning that I've done, even if he thinks that notices, and that I don't even think he notices are dirty. Sorry, folks. Like cleaning the skirting boards that are covered in dust. Because you don't clean them, they will become covered in dust. He and the housemate have just said that nobody looks at the skirting boards. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, you're not the jerk, OP, and I think you are getting a long, hard look at your future. Like, is this the type of future you really want?
Yeah.
I mean, he is very clearly, he doesn't want you to tell him what cleaning you're doing because he doesn't want to feel guilted. He doesn't want to feel like he's not pulling his weight, but he isn't pulling his weight. He deserves to know he's not pulling his weight. Make a chore chart while you plan out your exit, because I don't expect things are going to improve, but like, you know.
Yeah. Tell me how your day was, hon. Oh, my day was great, but I don't want to tell you about my day because you get angry at me anytime I tell you about my day, because now I'm telling you about how I cleaned and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of nonsensical, right? He asked, right? And now he's annoyed at her because he literally asked how her day was.
Well, because he was just asking that to be polite. He probably didn't care about how her day was.
Yeah. Like, and I think you're right. This might be a glimpse into their future here, because he doesn't seem to have a problem at all with any of the mess. And he's willing to just let OP, who is visibly annoyed by it, just kind of suffer, right? And he wants her to suffer in silence, too. So I think that's kind of rude. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary said, "For every cleaning job you do, I will eliminate one of my jobs from my daily oration. Now you know how to shut me up."
Yeah.
And then Sweet Mary says, "He asked about her day, didn't he?"
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, My boyfriend, a 26-year-old male, wants me, a 25-year-old female, to give up my cat for quote-unquote vegan ethics. We were planning to move in together until he demanded that I give up my cat. I honestly never thought that I would be in this situation, but here we are. I've been with my boyfriend for about 7 months, and he's passionate about animal rights. And I actually went from a pescatarian to fully plant-based after we started dating. He was proud of me for that, and we quickly became a vegan couple around campus. Well, but then there's my cat. I've had her for 3 years, and she is family to me. My boyfriend was always a little standoffish about it, saying that he just wasn't used to cats. So we mostly hung out at his place. I didn't seem like a big deal until now. Well, we've been talking about moving in together, and he suddenly told me that he can't see a future with me unless I give up my cat. He says that having a carnivorous pet is against vegan values, and that feeding her is basically supporting the meat industry, and that even keeping a pet at all is unethical. I told him straight up that my cat stays. She didn't choose to eat meat, she just needs to, and I do my best to reduce harm by buying carefully. My boyfriend doubled down, even sending me a link about how domestic cats should go extinct. Well, I was floored. I love him, but I'm not giving up my cat. My friend thinks that he's way out of line, and maybe they're right, but I can't shake how much I care about him. I just don't see how we'll come back from this. But honestly, if it's him or my cat, the cat wins every time. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, and this is an incompatibility here. And also, I love the contradiction of how he's like all about animal rights, but not carnivorous animals.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's uncomfortable to think about animals needing to eat other animals, and there are, of course, ethical concerns. But also, a lot of times, the meat that's used in like animal feed is like byproducts that would just be tossed otherwise. So while there are a lot of issues with the animal agriculture, and with how meat is produced. Again, a lot of what is used in pet food is leftovers that would be just thrown away.
So I think that they are at an impasse, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's really what this boils down to. This is fundamentally incompatible between the two of them, and if he doesn't, if he is unwilling to be in a relationship with someone who has a cat, then that is on him, and OP should just leave it at that. Like, the question is, though, he keeps moving kind of the goalposts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, he wasn't honest or straightforward. He should have been very honest and straightforward from the very beginning of the relationship that having a cat was a deal breaker.
Well, and it's very clear that he's kind of like,
Pushing her more and more
yeah,
towards.
he's one of those people who like, it starts small and then it's more, it expects you to give up more and more and more until you fit with their beliefs.
Yeah. And so I think that it would be a good time to get out at this point in time. I just don't see. I think that he's just going to continue to become more and more restrictive on what OP can eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if OP ends up with a medical condition or something other where she has to eat meat at some point in time? What is that going to do for their relationship?
Well, I mean, it would
right?
be over. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if she got like anemia during pregnancy or something.
Yeah.
This is the kind of guy who would just walk out the door and be like screaming at how dare you feed my baby meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so that could make a very dangerous situation too, right? So I think that health-wise, and maybe not just health-wise, right? So I think that OP would be better off cutting their losses at this point in time. But what do the comments have to say?
So Mary said, okay, as a cat lover, I would have lost any interest in a future date with this dude. Walter says, believes in animal rights but wants the species to go extinct. I've said
Yeah.
it before, many times before, but if it's me or the cat, always choose the cat.
Yeah.
Mary says, have the partner declawed.
Haha. I like that. I like that a lot. Speaking of having our partner declawed, actually that doesn't work at all here. Am I the jerk for critiquing my son's food? So I'm a 48-year-old male, and I have a 15-year-old son who loves to cook. In our culture, we have this snack that is ground beef with onions, garlic, potato, and carrots mixed in, and that's covered in dough, and that you also have to make. Kind of like an empada, but not really. Empanada. I don't know how to pronounce words. I'm very sorry, folks. I brutalized that, and I apologize. So now my son learned how to make this in January because he knows that I enjoy it. Well, the first time he made it, it turned out perfect. Now there's always something wrong with it. The dough is either not up to my standards, or the meat doesn't have enough of the onion or garlic or potatoes or carrots, the ground beef isn't seasoned enough, or the ground beef isn't moist enough. Last time he made this food was last Saturday. I took it to work that Monday to try it since I hadn't eaten it, and during my shift my son called to see if I liked it. I told him no, because in this case the ground beef wasn't seasoned enough. This is when I found out that he had been making the meat instead of his mom. So I told him to have his mom make it instead. The dough was fine, but I had to throw it away because the beef was bland in my opinion. His grandmother, his mom, and his sister like it though, but I'm more picky about these types of things. After that, he hangs up and my wife calls me saying that I'm wrong to be so critical of the food that was made for me for free, especially given that he cares a lot about my opinion. Am I the jerk? Conflict all around between my wife, son, and me. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're the jerk, and who votes that OP makes his own food from here on out? I mean, it sounds like the son is doing his best to make a food that OP enjoys. And it's one thing to give, comments. Like, you can give constructive criticism on things like, oh, well, it was good, but I would have preferred a little more seasoning or something like that. But the way OP acts like it's entirely inedible because it's a little underseasoned, come on, dude.
Well, I mean, I think, it depends on how much he's telling his son and how much the son is asking for feedback and stuff like that. Because if the son is really, really asking the father for feedback and it's like, please just give me the feedback, I just need to know because I want to improve, right? Then it's fine for OP to be honest, right? And gently honest, but still honest, right? I mean, because we're hearing this from OP's perspective, and I don't know how much he's kind of, doing.
But even from OP's perspective, he literally told his son that it was basically inedible, it seems like, and he threw the rest of the food out because it was a little underseasoned.
Telling the son that it's inedible and throwing it out, I think, was a step too far for sure, right? Sure, he can be a little picky, but it's inedible because it didn't have quite the right seasoning.
It seems like he has such exacting standards that, if your meal comes out even a little different from how he prefers it, then he's gonna throw a hissy fit.
Yeah, so I think in that respect, that's not good, and I mean, certainly, constructive criticism is, on the table for stuff like this, especially if the son's asking for feedback and really wants to get it right for the dad. I can understand why that would be frustrating for the son if he just can't seem to get it perfectly for the dad, right? But also, dad maybe is being a little too picky here, right? I mean, I'm wondering if there's more to this than what he's kind of leading on, if it's a matter of his son specifically, he doesn't want him cooking or something like that, and so he's being critical to kind of discourage him. If that's the case, then OP absolutely is in the wrong. But if this is literally just him being picky and people are asking for his feedback, then less wrong, but still should be a little bit nicer about things.
And it's so important for kids to learn how to cook and to, it feels like OP is just killing the son's love of cooking there. This is something you want to encourage. And again, there's nothing wrong with giving a little constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But, be kind about it and show your appreciation for the effort.
But though I do also want to kind of point out, because I just remember the one detail where he's like, oh, your mom needs to cook the meat from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Very rude.
Yeah.
Very, very rude and unacceptable. You can't just be like, you can't do this anymore, right? So, I just don't like the fact that OP has done that, right? But what do the comments have to say?
Mulder says there is a way to give constructive criticism, and this isn't it.
Yeah.
Sweet Memory says use a hot sauce to spice it up. Don't be that picky. Mary says, would it kill OP to extend a little kindness? This would kill any desire to cook for OP ever again.
Yeah.
And Mulder says applaud the effort and maybe tell him to ask his mom for pointers on seasoning if he's trying to improve.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary says at least the son has the majority on his side.
Yeah. I bet, the wife should try to cook the beef and then see if this is really a matter of him being picky or if this is a matter of just him being biased against.
Yeah, the wife makes the whole meal and passes it off as the son's.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. We'll have one more story, and then we'll do tea time and have one last story. How's that sound, folks? And speaking of strange stories, I don't know how to phrase this one. Our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Giving My Girlfriend a T-shirt, and Now Her Mom is Wearing It. A while ago, I gave my girlfriend one of my favorite t-shirts because she liked it, and I thought that it would be cute for her to wear it. You know, the classic boyfriend gives his girlfriend a t-shirt type thing. Well, honestly, I forgot about it after a while. But today, out of nowhere, my girlfriend tells me that her mom is now wearing that exact shirt around the house. The funniest part is that her mom doesn't even know that it's mine. To make things even more awkward, her mom doesn't even know I exist. So, from her perspective, it's just some random shirt laying around that she's decided to adopt. Now I'm sitting here realizing that my shirt completely skipped the original purpose and somehow made its way into her mom's wardrobe rotation. I don't know if I should be honored, confused, or just embarrassed. It's my t-shirt, and that my t-shirt has started a new life without me, and that I can't even say anything because it technically am not even supposed to exist in her mom's world. So yeah, I've officially lost my shirt to someone's mom who doesn't even know me. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, maybe it's time Mom learns the truth about OP.
I think the mom knows. I absolutely think the mom knows and has taken up the shirt so that the daughter will confess that OP exists. Because of course she sees this shirt, and of course she's going to be like, there's a shirt here. My daughter isn't mentioning anything about a boy. Well, maybe I'll just take the shirt and wear it around her until she finally says something about it. So I think that's the game plan right here. I think the mom is just knows OP exists and is waiting for the daughter to confess. So that's kind of what I think here. So yeah. What does everyone else think? I know that we kind of burnt through that pretty quickly. So
Mulder says, "Weird. I'm surprised girlfriend isn't defending her stuff."
Yeah, that's kind of why I think the girlfriend isn't defending her stuff, is because she doesn't want to admit or acknowledge things. So yeah.
And then Mary says, "Info. What does the t-shirt say?" Yeah, Brian, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think the mom fully knows. She absolutely knows what's going on here. Speaking of absolutely knowing what's going on here, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
I bought a guitar made out of diamonds. Now I can play some hard rock.
Ah!
This is from the Ultimate Joke Challenge.
Yes.
Oh, what's our poll?
The pool has water in it. We'll end the poll. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
The poll is
even split.
An even split. Everyone wants one of the Halloween things. Although I think someone said with the other that they didn't want it to be Halloween yet, or they didn't want to choose, or something like that.
They didn't want a ghoul.
Or
Yeah.
they didn't want a ghoul.
Well, but you picked zombie, so yeah. Now we have a 5-way split.
So yeah, 5-way split. Congratulations, folks. We can't make any decisions together at all.
It's great. All the Halloween ghouls deserve some love.
Yeah. Diet Coke for Mary, a special guest tea for Brian, and Hard Rock. I'll let people guess on the tea for a moment here, and then I'll go ahead and
Yeah, well, I was on TV last night, so maybe Brian can share a link later on.
Yeah, maybe I can. If I remember.
Yes, I was. It was the WABI 5 book club. They do a book club segment on Thursdays, so they had me on to talk a little bit about Little White Flowers.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll look that up real quick here, and put that link into there for anyone who's interested. So, let's see, the WABI horror book lovers club thing here. So, for anyone who's interested, that's a link to it, and so feel free to watch it, but don't watch it at this very second, because then you'll miss the end of the video. Licorice Spice and special guest tea, and I have Licorice Spice. All right. All right, folks, and our last letter is titled, I'm going to close this off real quick. Oops, and you can see the other window that has popped across the screen, so that we were doing there. Our last letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Lying to My Students About My Injury? So, I'm a 26-year-old male and I work at an elementary school. Over the summer, I broke my leg while I was out hiking. I had surgery and I'm on the mend. Naturally, my students are all curious about my injury. In my years of working at the camp, I have developed a strong lying to the kids habit. So, whenever my students ask how I broke my leg, I tell them different, outlandish, obviously untrue lies about how I broke it. I've told the kids it's because I didn't eat my vegetables, I didn't tie my shoes, I went skydiving, I fell off of a bull at a rodeo, etc. And I have a lot of fun with it. The kids seem to enjoy the stories and come up with their own about how I broke it. My mom hates that I do this. She thinks that I'm causing some irreversible harm to them by lying to them about this, and I'm just having fun, and I don't see how this could harm the kids. I'm telling age-appropriate stories, so am I the jerk for lying to the kids? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, I mean, it's not like OP's intention is to deceive. It sounds like they're all kind of in on it. They're coming up with their own stories. You know, it would be one thing if OP was intentionally trying to lie to the kids and convince them of certain things, but it sounds like it's intentionally outlandish and it's just a way of having fun and to teach them that kind of like there are some questions that you don't need to ask about.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that this is just one of those kinds of things. I mean, you know, I do have like a problem with lying to kids, but when it's obvious lies, when it's outlandish like this, I have less of a problem with it because it doesn't feel like an intentional deception at this point in time, right? But I mean, certainly, like I think that OP is clearly not telling the truth in these things, which makes a huge difference. And like we tell fantasy stories to kids all the time, right? Like this is a fantasy story. It doesn't really happen, like dragons and whatever have you, unicorns and all those kinds of things, right? So kids are allowed to indulge in tall tales, right? So this is just a tall tale, and it just involves a person they know. That's kind of how I view it. So I don't think that OP's in the wrong in the least. But what do the comments have to say?
Mary says, tell me, did Mom ever talk about Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, or the Tooth Fairy?
I think those are even more deceptive because then a lot of times the kids actually believe those, right?
And then Sweet Mary says, no, they know it's just fun and games.
Yep.
And then Walter says, not the jerk, it's all in good fun. And clearly they're all in on the joke.
Yeah, exactly. But now we are all in on the joke because that's all the time we have for today.
Oh, wait, Embrace Grace says, wait, dragons aren't real?
No, of course they're real. No one tell them. Komodo dragons are very real. Yeah. So, thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for today. Teachers don't live at school.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, no. And folks, we do have a live stream coming up, not next month. I've decided to skip October's live stream because it would be occurring on Halloween. And that month is actually going to be really packed for Amber and I anyways.
Yeah.
And so, like, basically it's going to be kind of a bad Friday for us the, week before. And then it's going to be just, like, then November. So, unfortunately, I think we're just going to skip the October live stream this year. But we will have one in November, November 28th, on Black Friday. So, like, our customary Black Friday live stream.
Yes. So yeah, October is just a very busy month because as a horror writer, I have like panels and the other events I'm doing and whatnot. So and libraries are getting my book, and so I'm seeing my book in libraries and all that kind of cool stuff. So, but yeah, we'll be back in November.
Oh, does it say August live stream? Did I forget like what month I'm in?
Probably.
How did I forget? Oh, you know what? I updated the thumbnail, but I didn't update the thumbnail correctly, folks. So that's why the thumbnail is wrong. I don't know how I managed that. I must have just grabbed the wrong thumbnail. I was in a rush. So thank you for letting me know. I'll change the thumbnail on this live stream.
Everyone will be confused. There were two August live streams.
Yeah.
We traveled back in time for this one.
Yeah. I don't know how I managed that.
I just couldn't let go of summer.
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you all. Let's see, because the title card here is the September live stream. So, like I said, I just didn't update the live stream thing. Oh, edit this. this title right here. Oh, I got that. Okay. Thank you, folks. So sorry about that. I don't know how I managed to not see that. Yeah, we're all in August now here, right? So we'll just transport ourselves back in time. So, yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be nice if we can do that. But thanks everyone for joining us. Had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too.
Bye.
So we'll take care and see you later. I'll let everyone kind of file out, and I'll like do some kind of musical number. Be like the frog from the Looney Tunes. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime girl. We'll see you all later. Take care. I'll stop the stream now with like some kind of weird face.